So this story has been making me actively very angry, which is good that we have an outlet to talk about this, Ben.
Yeah.
So for people that haven't been paying attention, the situation in Minnesota is exploding everywhere. Authorities say that there were more than $1 billion siphoned out of the state social service programs over the last 5 years, much of it tied to members of the Somali diaspora, including Al-Qaeda, by the way, with fake billing operations, and dozens of people have been indicted and 59 have been convicted of charging the state millions of dollars of services that never existed. So a bunch of Somali immigrants ripped off the state of Minnesota for billions of dollars and sent money back to Somalia, including to Al-Qaeda. I have many issues with this, as any rational person would. But we've been talking about Somalia and some of these candidates and the Somali population in Minnesota for a little bit on the show. And one of the things that made me very angry during the last election was the mayoral candidate for Minneapolis, Omar Fateh. I want to show you this clip, number 5, of how he thinks that he represents America. I know you're going to love it, Ben. Number 5.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Somalia. Somalia. Hiran State. Ma'awisle. Ma'awisle. Early voting was hadda illa November 4. I need your vote. Wani de bahanahay. Wani de bahanahay. I need you. Hadan udkina hello. We're going to win.
When I say nothing is going to radicalize me against immigration more than in anything, that clip will do it. I am over it. I am fucking over it. I'm over it. And I would like to say I am tend to be more dovish on immigration and have been for a while. I have got some feelings over the past, I would say, 2 years, and it's overflowing with this fraud scandal and that clip in particular. That guy lost, but he didn't end up losing for as much as I would have expected.
And next time he'll probably win, by the way. The population is growing so fast. Like, it's just a numbers game now for Somalis to gain more and more power.
I want to show you just really quick the number 6 of President Trump talking in the same way that I feel. Number 6, please.
I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you, okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country. I could say that about other countries, too. I can say it about other countries, too. We don't want them to hell. We have to rebuild our country. You know, our country's at a tipping point. We could go bad. We're at a tipping point. I don't know if people mind me saying that, but I'm saying it. We could go one way or the other, and we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing. You know, they came from paradise, and they said, this isn't paradise. But when they come from hell, and they complain, and do nothing but bitch, we don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it.
So I may have worded this a bit different, but I agree with him.
No, look, here's it's interesting. I literally this morning I had my best friend, college roommate, college tennis partner, come stay with us for 2 days. He's from England. He's lived in America since college, and he told me that like he's permanent resident now, married a girl in the U.S., has 2 kids here, and he's doing the process of becoming an American citizen. Why? Because he loves this country. He feels like it's home. He's lived here now longer than he lived in the UK, and he loves America. That's the person I want here. They love this country. They're proud of this country. They feel a connection to this country, and they're not saying I represent Somalia first or the UK first while running for office, which is total insanity. But you go to Minneapolis and Minnesota in general, and what has happened there, and I talked to a reporter this week and also a local talk show, it's a good friend of mine. I was like, okay, really break this down for me, this scandal, so that I understand it. And he said, it's actually very simple. If you are in these hardcore liberal areas that are heavily populated, you cannot win without the Somali vote. The Somali vote is for sale. you have to be Somalia first and kind of hate America and rip on America and say America's evil. And if you do that, you get the entire voting bloc, like all of it, full stop. So that's number one. Number two, this corruption was massive fraud. And there were multiple whistleblowers. They went to Governor Walz and they went to their higher ups. And they're like, hey, there is like insane fraud. There's like a 20x rate of autism in the Somali community compared to like the world. That doesn't happen. They figured out how to start funding the money. The money was going into these non-government agencies, in essence, in the US that were doing all this work, when in reality, they were just paying these families off. Then the money was going to Al-Shabaab, which is a terrorist like network. It's a terrorist organization under Al-Qaeda. And it was funneling millions at first, then tens of millions, and it turned into, as we know now, hundreds of millions of dollars in fraud. The people that reported the fraud were then shut down and ostracized and actually investigated. So they didn't go after the fraud. They wanted the whistleblowers to be quiet because Governor Walz knew that if he wanted to win an election and others around him, they couldn't piss off the Somali community. And if you allowed this to then blow up into what it was, you then lose your seat, you lose your city council seat, your board of aldermen, your mayor, your congressional race, because they have that large of a voting bloc. So they knew the fraud was happening. This isn't 4 whistleblowers, by the way, Meghan, that have made this into a thing now. 400 government workers. By the way, the majority of them, I'm being told, are registered Democrats. All right. So this isn't a bunch of Republicans. Like, they didn't find 400 government Republican whistleblowers. The majority, they say overwhelming, are Democratic whistleblowers who are furious with a governor who attacked the whistleblowers instead of going after those committing the fraud, stealing from the state. And it was all because they just didn't want to lose an election. And so when you look at it from that standpoint, it's disgusting because the money was actually going to terrorists and you're funding the terrorists and you knew it. And you just said, I got to win my next election. I'm not going to piss off the Somali community if they're committing fraud and lying about all these kids having autism and all this money from government dollars going there. So be it. That is like sick on so many different levels. But that is a guy that was, by the way, one like heartbeat away in theory from being the president of the United States of America, running as the VP candidate for the Democratic Party. And while he was running, he knew the state's dollars, not like 100,000, tens of millions turning into hundreds of millions, were going to terrorists, and he totally sanctioned it and knew about it.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
was
Governor
not a
Walz should
small
step down.
oversight. Yeah, exactly. That's what I
Mhm.
say. This is not a small oversight. It's hundreds of millions, $1 billion,
Yeah.
completely siphoned from programs that are meant to feed children. He
Correct.
knew it.
Mhm.
He retaliated. He absolutely 100% needs to step down, along
He
with
won't.
everybody else who enabled him.
Yeah.
Because it's not, he's, this didn't happen in a vacuum. He's not the only person retaliating, ignoring these whistleblowers. He was out on the campaign trail, whatever. His entire aides, administration, everybody needs to go. And the voters need to hold him accountable.
And this is why I am in favor of, this is not political retaliation. There needs to be the federal government come in and investigate. I want to see the emails. I want to see the warnings.
Transparency.
I want to see the meetings. I want to see what he knew and when he knew it. I want to see accountability, and I want people charged with the crime of supporting terrorists.
Fraud and conspiracy.
If you knew the money was going to terrorists, and there was very clear, I mean, when was the last time we've heard of 400 whistleblowers on anything in this country? 400 state workers are saying, put me on the stand in a trial, and I will tell you what we saw, when we saw it, and who we told.
If this is, obviously it is true because there's ample evidence, but it's one of the greatest cons ever pulled in American history, easily, billions of dollars. I do want to say to you, Ben and Miranda, that I just don't understand this new trend of immigrants coming here and hating this country. I am happy to have anecdotally, my brother's girlfriend in high school, her family were are Mexican immigrants who came to the United States. Most patriotic family I maybe have ever met, like American flags everywhere, freaking out over the 4th of July. So happy and proud to be American citizens. couldn't have asked for someone who like loved this country more and loved being here more and really was grateful for what they escaped and couldn't have had the opportunities they have here. Dad's a very famous doctor. Like, it just like couldn't have happened. I don't understand waving a Somali flag while you're running for office in the United States of America, shitting all over our country,
Yeah,
and then
and getting elected on
wanting
it.
to and wanting to exploit the spoils of the riches of the West and our democracy. And this is where I'm like, maybe we should stop having these people come here. Because again, I have no problem if you want to come here legally and become part of the American experiment. Fantastic. I really no problem with it at all. But this shit, like,
Yeah.
I'm like, go to hell.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to be part of our country and
Then
you're
get
gonna
out.
crap all over it. Yeah, I just
Why
but
and
I've
why would they
never
come
felt
here?
this way before
If-
until very recently. And now I'm like, with your Somali flag,
Yeah,
how about
if
no?
they love Somalia so much, why
Then
did
go
they
back to
leave?
Somalia and fix the damn country, as Donald Trump put it. And look,
They
I think
want to
this
run
is
for
one of-
office. Run for
Yeah.
office there. Why?
Well,
why
and
are
this
they
is
even
one
here?
of the freeing things I think about Donald Trump right now and why his approval rating with Republicans is so damn high is that he is not afraid to say the politically incorrect thing. And he's also, I think, articulating it in a way that is resonating with people. And if you go to Minneapolis right now and you look at that city, it is completely changing into a third world nation.
God.
It is not America. And you can look at it from the crime. You can look at it, what happened with the F the police. What do we want? Dead cops. When do we want them now? Remember, a lot of that Black Lives Matter and those chants, pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. That chant started in Minneapolis, St. Paul. I mean, they are a radicalized city that is, I think, even more radical, clearly because of the Somali community and a lot of the Middle Eastern community that doesn't like America. Like, I have no problem where you're from. I don't like you if you're in America and you hate America and you're trying to set up your own country in America. That's what's happening in neighborhoods and now blocks in Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Well, and Michigan
Yeah.
too.
And Michigan,
Yeah.
too. Exactly.